Alright. Are we good? Can I go back to streaming? I'm trying to watch Momo. Why is it not letting me watch Momo? Huh. Hold on. Go. Let's go. What was it, Momo? Ah, you can't watch this stuff. Okay. I'm up for like, what the hell? Oh, let's get this shit started. Let's get this shit started. How my frames looking? Pretty good, pretty good. Okay. Let's go ahead and watch. Mm, bro, where am I going?
My name's Jonathan, and there was a time when I used to suffer major sleep paralysis episodes. I used to wake up in a vegetative state where I knew I was conscious, but there's no way I could move my body. And during that state, I experienced some pretty bad hallucinations. These episodes occurred so frequently that I still can't figure out how much of it I hallucinated and how much of it actually happened. Because there is this one time where things got real, freaking the hell out of me. In the beginning, it started with me waking up at night feeling stuck in my own body. I could see, feel, hear everything around me, but couldn't act on it until my body was released. Slowly, this
Yeah.
state turned into a more
Yeah.
complicated condition. For example, I woke up one night and saw myself standing near the bed and watching myself.
Yet. Hold on, chat.
I can't tell you how terrified I was after. I decided to see a psychiatrist for this. Dr. Berman gave me sleeping pills and said with time that it'll pass. He said there's no particular treatment for sleep paralysis other than improving sleep habits, including going to bed at the same time every night, ensuring a comfortable sleep environment free of distractions, and avoiding caffeine before sleeping. I followed his instructions, and for a month I did quite well, but things took a bad turn all of a sudden. One night, I dozed off on my living room couch and it happened again. There's not much furniture in my apartment because I recently moved in. Apart from the couch, there's a TV set, a lamp, and a rocking chair. The chair was already in my apartment before I moved in. I think it belonged to the previous tenant, and I let it be as it was extra sitting arrangement for me. I woke up with the same feeling of being stuck, but this time, neither I saw myself, nor I felt alone. Instead, I saw someone sitting in the chair
Yeah, I think it's
and
cool.
rocking back and forth. I could tell it was a woman, probably in her late 70s. The most terrifying thing about experiencing sleep paralysis is that you will know that you're awake, but you'll also know that you're seeing something that isn't there in real life. I knew there's no one in this apartment except me when I saw this woman sitting in her.
What the fuck?
I think I could hear you.
You said you could?
I think so. You wasn't talking.
Jack, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you. They can hear you.
Rocking chair. She didn't turn her face around. She just rocked back and forth. This phenomenon started to occur every night, but I was confident that it was all my imagination, because as soon as I broke free from the state of trance, the lady was gone. I told my psychiatrist, Dr. Bergman, about this, and he too said the same thing, that it was nothing but mere hallucinations. I opted for meditation before going to bed, because Dr. Berman said it would help my sleep, and I did it for a few weeks. I was almost feeling relieved that I stopped having further episodes, until one night, I experienced a living nightmare. I had a friend over. Let's call him Matt for the sake of the story. Matt and I watched a football match and drank a couple beers. Matt drank a bit too much, so he stayed the night at my place. Around 3 a.m., I heard heavy breathing from a very close distance. As soon as I opened my eyes, I saw a horrifying face leaning over me and looking directly into my eyes. Her white, frail hairs were all over me. It was that woman who rocked in the chair. I wanted to scream, but I realized that I was having an episode and started telling myself that it wasn't real, that this is all my imagination. The woman then spoke to me. "You think I'm not real, huh?"
What the fuck, y'all?
Time to scout.
I was gasping for air, as I couldn't breathe out of this shock. She got up and started walking to Matt's side of the bed.
That's creepy.
I watched her approach my friend with a sinister smile. She slowly came near him and then leaned on him in the same manner. Her jaws then started to stretch into a huge hollow mouth and started devouring Matt's head. She was eating my friend's head like a python gulps its prey. Saliva was dripping from her mouth, and Matt's head was completely inside it. I can't explain how terrifying that scene was. She looked at me with her hungry eyes while sucking the life out of my friend. I wanted to break free and pull Matt out of her mouth, but I couldn't do anything but lie like a living corpse. Suddenly, my alarm went off and I sprung on my bed screaming. Matt woke up with this shock, and the lady was nowhere to be found. "What the hell, bro? What happened? That woman, she was..." And I passed out without finishing my sentence. Matt took me to the hospital. The doctors thought I had a panic attack in my sleep due to the fit of intoxication. My psychiatrist, Dr. Bergman, was also informed, and I stayed in intensive care for a week. Matt still doesn't know what I saw that night, and I don't think I'll ever be able to tell him. I no longer live in that apartment, but before leaving it, I asked the landlord about the history of that rocking chair, to which he told me. Many years back, this apartment was a healthcare unit for mentally deranged people. They had lots of violent patients, among which one patient was the most dangerous. It was a 65-year-old lady who couldn't stand children in her sight. She was brought to the unit after trying to devour a newborn from a local hospital. People claimed her to be possessed, and some even thought she was a practitioner of witchcraft at her young age. She used to sit in that chair and rock back and forth all night and all day. After knowing, I don't think anyone could have stayed in that apartment. But the surprising thing is that no one lived there before I saw this lady, or experienced anything of the sort. I don't know if I imagined her completely, because I knew nothing about her when I started hallucinating her. The other most terrifying thing is that last week I met Matt in a nightclub. He was there partying with his colleagues. I noticed a ring of bruises on his forehead, which wasn't there before. As I asked him what happened to his
You're a
head,
moderator.
he gave me a very weird reply.
You're a moderator.
He paused and looked at me for a few seconds.